There's no single definition of a migrant. There's no single reason why a person migrates. There are 232 million individual reasons for people to migrate. It's always an individual reason, but generally it's either economical or it's forced. People want to leave to find a better job, maybe in the same country, maybe across the border, or they've had to flee because of persecution, because of conflict, because of war, because of famine, or perhaps because of the fact that their community they live in isn't sustainable anymore. We're seeing in many small island states, low-lying states, particularly in this region, in the Pacific and in Asia, and also in larger countries that have long coastlines. The poor tend to be around the coastlines where there's work in fishing industries and so on. And as the climate changes, as the sea levels rise, as storms get more intense, people are leaving. So we're really concentrating, fundamentally on labour migration and on environmentally influenced migration, and that's going to get more and more significant as the years pass. It's already very significant, but it's going to be more and more of a phenomenon. I'll give you one example of the way migration can improve lives. A young man in India who migrated to the nearest city to get a job. He worked there for a few years, saved some money, went home, got married, and became the most successful man in his village. Now, why did he become so successful? The thing he brought back with him, the money he brought back, he bought a boat with that. When it rained, when the floods came, he packed all his belongings up and his family, got to higher ground, and when the water went down again, he went straight back and resumed his life, resumed commerce, while the rest of the village was still cleaning up. So little things like that, if someone has the savvy to go somewhere, to think a bit ahead and can get a job somewhere, they can go back to their communities and really improve lives there. And not just improve their own lives, but by their experiences, share that and lift the entire community.
I'm not sure that's going to be the case. Well, if you think about it, for some place like Singapore, for instance, the idea that you can get rid of the political boundaries and subscribe to something like the Schengen agreements, for us that's not possible because we physically don't have the space. If we were to take away those political boundaries, we would be swamped. Same would happen with territories like Hong Kong. If they took away the boundaries, they would be swamped. So these small, rich countries can't afford it. Even the bigger countries, Europe finds waves of immigrants lapping at their shores, looking for a better life. Can they absorb all of this? And can they, even if physically they can absorb these people, can the society take so many people of different cultures and religions in such a short time and still stay together? So the boundaries aren't likely to go. The boundaries in North America, you have, again, waves of migrants heading north. America's a big place. The US is a gigantic place. It could absorb them physically, but can they absorb them socially? The reaction that we are seeing now, I think, arises because you've got too many people who are strangers. They are seen as competitors, they are seen as alien, and very often they're also seen as hostile. And this is the problem. So realistically, I don't think the boundaries will disappear. Maybe, who knows, at the end of the 21st century, the world will be at peace and there will be no problem, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Number one, it depends on your socioeconomic class. The ones who are affluent and well and skilled and well educated will move around a lot more and expect to do so. So my generation didn't expect to live abroad that much. My children's generation, that's different. Your generation, that's different. You live in different places, it's going to be natural. Right? For the older folks who are affluent, it's the same thing. Because travel's so much easier, because communications are so much easier, you don't have to stay in Singapore, which is expensive and crowded. You can go somewhere else and still keep in touch with your children, provided the medical facilities are good. There's a third bunch of people who have to move because they need the jobs. And that will always be with us. They'll move, but they may not want to stay. They just want to earn money, go home, build a better life for themselves and their kids. And then there'll be a final bunch of unfortunates who are pushed out. Natural disasters, because your country's sinking under the waves, because there's war, earthquake, volcanoes. Those we can't help. That we can't predict. You can't predict a volcano, you can't predict an earthquake.